Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over your very exciting November forecast for the year of 2020, and then in tomorrow's video I'll be coming out with my winter forecast for the year of 2020 to 21. We're going to be going over my precipitation and temperature anomaly forecast, as well as my overall forecast at the end of today's video, so make sure you are staying tuned all the way until the end. If you have any comments or questions about your specific area, just leave your county name, what part of your state you're in, or a town name. Just leave any sort of information that I could give some sort of forecast for you, and I'll definitely give you a detailed forecast. I like to respond to most of my comments within 30 minutes to an hour of when they're posted, and even if I don't respond to it, I usually leave a heart on the comment just to let you know that I did read it and I have received that comment. So here is the current precipitation forecast from myself, and I've been using data such as the model guidance, as well as the La Nina pattern that we are going to be going in, and also some of the longer range forecasts from different forecasters, as well as NOAA and what they are forecasting, and then generally just my own judgment of how October has gone and how the past Octobers that have acted similarly and how they have affected this the upcoming November. So we have slightly below average precipitation anomalies over portions of the western United States down through the Four Corners into the south central United States, and then down through the Gulf states and into the coastal southeast. This is where I'm expecting less precipitation than normal, but it won't be too noticeable unless you get into this darker shade of tan or brown, I guess you could call it, or almost an orange, where you have moderately below average precipitation expected over the portions of southwestern Texas, much of New Mexico and Arizona, as well as southern Nevada and easternmost parts of California there. That's where I'm expecting moderately below average precipitation. Now I'm expecting slightly above average precipitation over parts of Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, through Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and then back through the Ohio Valley, including parts like Ohio, West Virginia, even parts of Maryland, and then up through Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and into Vermont there. That's all of the regions where I'm expecting above normal precipitation for this November, and this November is going from the first day of November to the last day of November, so that's where I'm counting these anomalies, and that's for the time period that these anomalies count for. Now here would be the moderately above average precipitation region, and this is where it's going to be even wetter than normal than in this light green area, and that extends from a little portion of Montana and Wyoming eastward to the northern Great Lakes, and then dips down southward into the Ohio Valley in the lower Great Lakes, where I'm expecting moderately above normal precipitation. I think you'll get a lot of clipper systems that move through the northern plains, and then you could see a couple systems that kind of linger over the Great Lakes and then just dump a little bit of rainfall for those regions. So that's generally how it came to this precipitation estimate. Now here would be the temperature anomaly forecast, and let's start talking about where I think it's going to be colder or warmer than normal for this November. Now I'm expecting below normal temperatures for the northern plains, the much of the Great Lakes actually, and then through parts of the central plains. This is where I'm expecting colder than normal conditions for the month of November, and I'm expecting moderately below average conditions for portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the northern UP of Michigan. This is where I'm expecting even colder than normal conditions, and this is where I think the cold temperatures will persist throughout this November. Now here's my above average temperature anomaly region, and this is it for much of the west coast of the United States down through the south central United States, and then back up the east coast. This is where I'm expecting above normal temperatures, and this is a little bit misleading because I do think for the first 10 or so days of November I think it'll be very cold for portions of the northeast and the Ohio Valley, but then I think it's really going to switch off into a warmer pattern, and that's why I think it'll average out to above normal for these regions, but it won't be too warm unless you're in these moderately above average regions in the orange for southern Texas, southern New Mexico, much of Arizona, southern Utah, much of Nevada, southern Oregon, and all of California, as well as a little portion there of New England. For most of New England, that's where I'm expecting moderately above normal temperatures, and then we have our overall forecast here. So this is going to be showing you generally an overall summation of what you should expect, and again, If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below in the comment section, and I respond to pretty much all of the comments and most of the comments, especially if you have a question I usually get back to rather quickly. Now, here's a look at the overall forecast, and I'm going to break them down by region. Now, in this first region there, in the brown, that's where I'm expecting drier than normal conditions, and that's going to be for parts of Washington, Oregon, and southern Idaho there. This is where I think it won't be as wet as it has been over the past few days, and I think it really will slow down in terms of the pattern. I think it'll be rather active for the first couple of days, but then I think again it'll really slow down. Now, more mountain snow is expected for portions of the northern, actually pretty much all the Rockies, and also parts of the Cascades. That's where I'm expecting more mountain snow than what is typical for the month of November, just because November is such a rapid month, and usually you get so many systems to move through, especially in October. You see a lot of systems September and October, but also in November, just because the atmosphere hasn't cooled down and dried down so much like it does in the winter, you can actually get quite a bit of snow, and the Rockies actually see their most active snowfall season actually usually in April and May, because of how active the pattern is, March, April, and May, and because they're so high in elevation, they don't really need too much cold air in order to get snowfall. So it's kind of a reversal. You really don't need too much to get snow in the Rockies, and I think most of the ingredients will be there to get snowfall for you guys. Warmer than normal conditions generally for portions of the southwest and south central United States, with an area of hot conditions, and that is going to be relative to this time of year. I don't think you'll get into the triple digits. I think it'll be mainly in the 80s and 70s, but it'll still be warmer than normal, and it's hot relative to the time of year. So I hope you guys all understand that it's not going to be summer hot, it's going to be November hot, which could be a lot colder than what you would consider as warm in the summer. So here would be in this yellow region, kind of squashed in there between that pink region and the blue regions there. It's squashed in between all of them for parts of the central plains and also for the interior southeast. This is where I'm expecting back and forth conditions, going from cold to warm, from wet to dry, and just generally all over the place for the month of November. Eye on the tropics for portions of the Gulf states and parts of the southeast coastal states, and that could extend all the way up to the northeast states, but we still have to see whether storms will really take that track in November. But we already have a couple of storms that have formed late in October. We're already only one storm away from tying the record as of when I'm recording this video. So we really are on pace to beat the record from 2005, and I think you still have to keep your eye on the tropics over the next couple of days, just because of how active they have been so far and how active they look to continue to be. And active in November isn't going to be active such as in September. It's going to be, again, relative to the time of year. It will be maybe just a couple more storms, but still you have to keep your eye on the tropics if you live within this region, and you have to stay alert if you live within this region. Now, cold conditions are expected generally for portions of the central northern plains, and then also for parts of the western Great Lakes. This is where I'm expecting generally colder than normal conditions, but it won't be brutally cold. Over this region, I'm expecting snowy conditions with a lot of systems moving out of Alberta and Saskatchewan in Canada. I think they'll dip down like we've seen regularly through the middle part of October. I think they'll dip down into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin and deliver quite a bit of snowfall for you guys. Now, I'm also expecting active lakes for portions of the Great Lakes. I think it will still be a fairly active pattern. I think you'll get a lot of systems to set up where you can get a northerly flow off the Great Lakes, and that can really enhance some of your lake effect snowfall. Either a northerly or an easterly flow out of the Great Lakes can really enhance some of that snowfall that you get from the lake effect snow. Now, I'm expecting early snowfall for this region in portions of the interior mid-Atlantic states, and as well for the interior northeast and then back through northern New England. I'm expecting again early snow. This is where I think you'll probably over the next 10 days or so in early November, I think you'll get some earlier than normal snowfall, and also I think you'll get quite a bit of storms to move through here. And then finally, in this light blue shade over portions of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and parts of the coastal northeast, I'm expecting expecting cold early, and again, that means for the first 10 or so days of November, I think you'll be in a fairly chilly pattern before switching over to a much warmer and milder and much more pleasant pattern that'll also be quite dry in nature. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.